This is the Mooncast.
See you, space cowboy.
We can definitely talk about that from both the economical perspective and like the hardships, man. I moved about a month ago just here just to be with my dad. Got cancer. The vast majority of the population is getting cancer, garbage in the street, and they dump sewage in the sea and uh, in the river. So the fruits are cancerous. Everything is cancerous. So like I
Yeah.
was shocked to see people getting cancer all over the place. Lots of friends, lots of relatives. You go to the hospital. Oh, I know this person from 20 years ago. He got cancer too. Like what part of the world, Van, you're from?
Yeah, so I am American, but my ethnic background is
Okay,
Nigerian. So I grew up in the States, but ethnically I'm Nigerian. So yeah.
Niger.
Yeah.
Cool, brother. So just, Lebanon is like think if Flint multiply, Flint, Michigan, right?
Of
Like
course.
how the
Of
water was
course.
polluted, right? So think Flint, Michigan, multiply that by maybe 100, right? And because everyone, they got so many shocks throughout their very recent history: civil war, several Israeli wars, internal conflict, total complete financial meltdown. It's literally a fallout type of setting, right? Or I was driving the other day and I'm like, holy moly, this is, man, a GTA server in real life. Like GTA wants to build a realistic game that has the war elements and the crime and the collapse and this post-apocalyptic scenario. Like, this is Lebanon for you. Unfortunately, it's a great country. Expats do well. There's a good internal culture, but it also, because people are always under the stress, you end up being in this scenario where everyone is always angry, everyone's not happy, right? People literally, like, financially, it's almost is getting as expensive as places like the States or
Really?
Canada with the high inflation. Yeah, but the salaries are like, you have another Venezuela scenario here in a different, it has different elements, but it's a Venezuela scenario. It's a complete financial meltdown. You see the infrastructure just literally, no one takes care of the roads. The other day I saw a car that almost got into an accident, broke the axle of the car. Why? Because the pothole cover, somebody stole it, and rather than fixing it, somebody put a stick. One car hit the stick flew, got into the car, broke the axle. The guy parked the car, and he was fuming because he can't afford to fix
To
something like
fix it.
that, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, you see, it's a very tense environment. And one of the things we are trying to do with Web3 is, all right, how can we make people's lives a little bit easier, a little bit, more interactive, more fun, but at the same time, give them the tools to better out their life. And this is where you see Thrivo coming into the picture, on the infrastructure level, where with the lack of complete, today there is shadow, I don't want to call it shadow banking, but there's skeletons of banks, right? Like after the collapse, banks remain, there was no accountability, but they don't provide any of the core banking services like lending, for example, right? Like, how can you start a business if you can't go and get the loan from the bank?
Yeah.
They turned into, they stole people's money. If to give you a little bit of context about or the background of the Lebanese collapse, 2019, there was a complete utter collapse of the system that was caused of years of systematic corruption. And basically that corruption started to service in a very blunt way, right? So what happened was that Lebanon defaulted in its debts. Basically, all, if you had any money in the bank as the population, they held withdrawals. So think FTX, but on a government
Hmm.
scale. Uh,
Weren't
Sorry, the
they
money
they
is
were
gone.
issuing they were issuing out, wasn't it bonds at a 20% rate or something crazy like that?
Yeah, Yeah, I mean,
Man, I
somebody
remember that.
tells you, yeah,
Someone told me about
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Yeah, they're like, "Yo, you should invest in Lebanon. They're giving out 20% interest on bonds," and
sure, sure,
I was like,
bro.
that's kind of fishy." I thought
Yeah.
about it though. I almost actually did it. I almost actually did it. It was one of my
How did you
Lebanese
learn
friends.
about that, bro? How did you learn about these bonds?
Because one of my friends is Lebanese, and he actually played on my basketball team when I was in Germany.
Cool,
Yeah, so
cool, cool,
he
cool,
was
cool,
telling me
cool.
about Lebanon and how it is, and actually, yeah, at the time, like we were actually going to school internationally together too as well, and then we were also playing basketball on the Pro B team in Germany, in
Cool,
Karlsruhe. So yeah, that's how I found
cool,
out
cool,
about it, and
cool.
I was actually thinking about doing it. I was actually thinking about flying over there to go travel, and then I think what ended up happening was COVID, if I'm not mistaken, because the following year, it was towards the end of the year, then
Yeah,
COVID
yeah, yeah,
happened in 2020. And then, yeah, so all that
yeah.
went to hell. Yeah. But yeah,
Yeah,
it's very, very
literally,
interesting.
literally, bro. Yeah, literally, just I mean, think about it. Who gives 20% on a currency that you don't make? You know.
Yeah.
So
And he was also, he also told me too as well, like, because I used to keep in touch with him too. He was telling me that, like, when you go to a restaurant, they had like basically on demand pricing changes like
mhm.
at restaurants and at different locations where they would literally change the prices like per hour. Is that how it works there?
Yeah, and so they put a screen in most places. They put a screen or like on a board. They write, okay, the last price of the dollar, if you want to pay with the Lebanese lira, is like this much, and it was changing by the hour. I remember back at the time I was tweeting heavy about the changes. I was in Lebanon during that period, and the you know we were in e-commerce. When you're in e-commerce, you depend heavily on having access to simple things as payments via card, right?
Mm-hmm.
So prices are changing, the status of whether cards are working. We were just heavy, just following on what's going on, and you would see from the same store there would be a difference by the hour between the price that you paid an hour ago and after, and everyone was sitting on these and like it's a funny story. Like what happened was that there were literally people who were going and betting against the Lebanese lira, and simply it was also from the central bank going into the legit money exchangers, and them outsourcing to just literally street thugs to collect as many dollars from the market.
Mm-hmm.
uh, right? So just everyone was just purchasing dollar. There was a group of people, and they were getting liquidity from the central bank so that they buy the dollar against the Lebanese lira.
Mm-hmm.
And people were wondering why are changes like who when you have these spikes in the market. I mean, Van, you're a trader.
No, I don't trade. I only long term invest. Only long term invest.
Cool,
And I
cool,
stake
cool.
mine. I do other things, but I don't trade.
I
I'm a
hear you, brother.
crappy trader, man. But you can tell me the trading comparison if you
Yeah,
want.
yeah. So if you think about it, if you see these spikes, you're gonna think, I mean, who's doing that, right? Somebody who's holding mass amounts of liquidity is doing that.
Yeah.
And it was literally so like the amount of corruption is insane. Web3 can provide a solution in terms of the payment infrastructure, in terms of governance, where people have more say in what's going on, and also in traceability of, we can limit corruption that way by, having traceability of transaction, having more transparency, and the tools to share all of this with the public, create this one ecosystem. It is a heavy challenge. The challenges here are not as technical as much as it's navigating a complex country like that. And when you go into payments, you're going to have banks that are trying to fight you. You're going to have the central bank who has a monopoly telling you no. But the interesting part about this country, it's still like the Wild West in terms of there is almost no regulation regarding crypto. It's the there was everything is a gray market, including everything from government stamps that you go and put your application, right, all the way to everything is gray market. There is a lack of regulation, which is in some countries good, but in some countries it's interpreted as whoever has most power. There's asymmetry here, right?
Mm-hmm.
um, we're gonna bring this through a very fun product, social in nature, because the entire population, and this is not just for Lebanon. This is, these problems can be spread out. They are around
Yeah.
this entire region, so they have a lot of similarities. But we're taking this one small case, Lebanon, a complete, almost a completely failed state. We say DeFi is the future, and we're going to have much, the new economy is much more decentralized. Here's our opportunity with a technology called Web3,
Yeah.
with tools that are transparent, traceable, and so on. So for a country like Lebanon, bring a product that people can use, that they can relate to. There is no learning curve. Bring them relevant content, whether we're talking about entertainment, whether we're talking about shopping, whether we're talking about events. Basically, a platform that others can build on. I always like to give this analogy of a mall. Think about this as a mall where we got the land. This is the base of the platform. We give the brands, both personal, whoever has value to put onto the table, whether it's personal, like an influencer, like a creator, like a celebrity, like an artist, like an independent journalist, or whether you are a business brand, like a small pizza shop. Give them the tools to bring their business to Web3. Give them an environment where they can interact, both these personal brands and the business brands. Give them the tools to bring their business to Web3, and on the other side, on the consumer end, give them a nice social environment that they feel easy, comfortable, they can interact with, they enjoy their time. They have a big variety, whether we're talking about the entertainment value, whether we're talking about the business value, whether we're talking about the governance value, and put them under one usable platform. This is, in short, what we're bringing to Intrivo, and this is how we believe that we can contribute a little bit to the reform of a country like Lebanon, and to give more people opportunities, so that it's a much more playing field when it comes to to their competitors from other countries.
Yeah. How do you plan on generating revenue?
We make money in 5 different ways. The
Yeah.
very first way is basically transaction fees. So as a model very similar to how an exchange operates. You do certain transactions, we generate from the network fees, we generate revenue. We do generate revenue also from giving premium tools to these brands. We're talking about a studio where you can create templates. You can use templates that are pre-existing, customize them the way that you want, different features, some are free, some are paid. Very similar to how you would deal with something like Wix or WordPress for websites. But we
Mm-hmm.
want to do this for decentralized applications. Our idea is that your profile page should be a customizable, decentralized application. So how do you do that? You can do that via a library of preset modules. So for example, if you are a trader, you might want something like your trading view charts, or enable a function like copy trading. If you are a musician, you might want to have a library of your music releases. If you are an independent journalist, you might want to have an exclusive section. Another interesting feature of Thrivo is the token creator, where there is a hype now with, say, Andrew Tate going and creating his own meme coin token that has its own utility, Ege Azalea, so many different. So we want to bring this to the masses, where anyone can translate his value into a token and charge for certain utilities or exclusive access with that token. So a good example would be, if you are, let's say, and we are in discussions with a tier one musician here in the Middle East. His use case is a fan club, literally a fan club where he can share his socials, he can sell his merch, he can give certain access, special exclusive access to his most loyal fans. How? Via his own token, via his own fan token or meme token, whatever the functionality. And the interesting part about these tokens, anyone can create them also using a library. So all what you have to do is just select exactly what the token, what network, select from a library of smart contracts the utility. How do you want it to be used inside of Trevo, for example, or outside of Trevo in the case of you want to give access, for example, backstage access in the case of the
Yeah.
celebrity. Oh, you're a big token holder. Of course, you're part of the club, right? Or as an NFT, a voucher, right? So the possibilities with a platform like Trevo are endless.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the second way we do charge a premium on providing these libraries. If you're making money on Trevo, obviously you will be contributing to its revenue. The third way is advertisement in a very non-intrusive way. As a promoted post, we find that this is necessary to push businesses who are willing to put resources. This is part of our marketing approach, very non-intrusive in your feed as recommended. You can customize your preferences. And the interesting part, via the fourth way we make money, is via an opt-in data monetization model. What does
Mm.
that mean? By default, Trevo tries not to collect any data about you.
Oh,
You
but
are what you claim you are. If you want to be verified, yeah,
how can
if you
they
want to be, yeah, go
how can
ahead,
they
brother.
prove that? I was just gonna say, I just want to cut you off. I was gonna ask, like, how can you prove that you're not collecting the data? That's always the issue. Is it like a trust me bro thing? Like how do you prove that?
Sure. Sure. By default, obviously, we give you a document that you can read, just like any other business. What kind of data that we collect, or our pledge. We are, going as compliant as possible. So we put in our compliance policy. We are willing to comply with the rules and the regulations of the countries where Trevo is used. Now, the interesting part with the opt-in data monetization, we tell you, give us permission to share your data with advertisers and brands, and in return we give you part of what we generate as an airdrop directly to your wallet inside of Trevo, where you can use to buy goods and services and enjoy the platform. So via that model, obviously, if people like to earn, and today on social platforms, you are sharing your data, your at least your metadata, anyways, right?
Yeah.
So this would be an interesting factor for us to bring in the users. So when you talk about the different ways that we can go and generate revenue from Trevo, and just also think about this, that this revenue, we use Trevo as the token of the ecosystem. This is our medium of exchange. People told us, oh, you can charge in USDT. I was like, no. First of all, we are an independent company bringing a product for the community. We want them to have their own token that gives you not just a way to pay on the network and to transact on the network, but also to have governance in terms of moderation and community guidelines. So, for example, if you are a token holder, you can get to decide via a DAO, right? What does community guideline mean? How can we interpret this law that we have, and how can we implement it? If you think something has been moderated unfairly, you have the opportunity to do so. If you want to decide which function that we need to introduce, you do that as a token holder, as a community member. So since, in our token, we believe that the medium of exchange is Trevo. This is the token for all the Trevo community and the users. We charge all of our transactions in Trevo. We settle them in Trevo. And
Mm.
our idea is to, rather than having multiple tokens to pay for gas fees on different networks, Trevo can be this bridge token that you can use as a universal gas fee token for all of the users of our industry.
Is it already chain agnostic or?
Yeah. Today we are on ETH and BNB. We have plans on Avalanche and Polygon. Solana as the fifth one that we will approach. Tone we're interested in. So we're deploying on multiple chains. Initially, obviously for considerations of liquidity and how we want to do our IDO, we focused on ETH and BNB. As of right now, that's where the most liquidity is. We believe that in the next couple of months, obviously the market will be way better. So we will have an opportunity to do our IDO, list our token. We already have a listing plan. The first in terms of the launch pads, we already have tier one launch pad locked
Oh,
in. Yeah, I'll keep this
can you say it?
till
Can you
we can
discuss or no?
announce it. Bro, just as high as gets. So just look up at
Okay.
Google. That's yeah. So that's
That's
regarding
interesting.
exchanges. We have, we're going with I wouldn't say, we're going to the Binance of the world, but
Mm-hmm.
we're going to an exchange that's the home of every new project getting into the market. Also for financial considerations, we're not as flashy as, we focus heavily on building a product. We believe the best marketing is the product itself.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, that's how we're prioritizing all of our resources. In the upcoming month, we are pushing marketing in preparation for the launch pads, and then obviously in September in preparation for the IDO. And I would definitely encourage everyone to check out Trivo, go through the website, go through the documentation. Uh, it's a really interesting project. Over a year in development, over 2 years in concept, with a team that we brought in from literally years of experience. We have people who have been developing for 20 years, 13 years, 17 years, several second time crypto founders, a lot of super strong advisors and partners. We're very excited what we're bringing. I don't want to say we're competing with the axes of the world. That's not directly the intention. We do have competition in the space.
Mm-hmm.
uh, Not exactly what we're doing. We truly believe we have a one-of-a-kind product. Uh, and that's why it's hard to compare to any single platform. In our
Yeah.
industry, yes, we see the lenses of the world there towards the same mission as us. We see the Desos of the world. We see the forecasters of the world. On the web 2, we see that the axis, right? Everyone's going into this super app kind of, from their different approach. We are here as a fun application, social from the ground up. You have the tools to tokenize, you have the tools to transform a profile into a DApp, so build your DApp easily. You have the tools to communicate. It's crypto native. If you're not crypto native, onboarding is super simple. There is nothing new here. You just, the only thing new is opening a wallet. The
Yeah.
wallet is DeFi primarily. Later on, we're adding the ability to integrate your centralized exchange account. So this is what Trivo is. Where it goes, it's on us. It's on the community. If we want to see Web3 mainstream, this is our years of experience as product owners, as developers, as marketing. This is our approach. This is our attempt to bring Web3 and crypto overall mainstream.
In terms of the gig economy, do you think it can be applied for that too as well, for gig economy specialist?
Absolutely. So think about this scenario, and we thought about this several times. You have a pizza shop. You
Mm-hmm.
have a pizza shop. This pizza shop, if they want to promote, they require an influencer. They require somebody who's providing delivery, right?
Mm-hmm.
They might require somebody else. So the idea here is that you as a creator of value, you can put your name out there, provide all your services, have incentives by issuing your token, so that if you have a repeat client, right?
Mm-hmm.
So transform your value into a token and be there. Uh, our commitment to developing Trivo is in two ends. One is to bring first party applications, something like a mini app, like a
Yeah.
module, right? For example, a delivery module, or for example, a smart contract for cleaning. This service has been achieved, money has
Yeah.
been, right? We This is our commitment: bring first party development, but also to provide SDKs and APIs so that third party developers can come in and build on Trevo and let the platform develop itself.
So would it be? I'm just trying to work out a little bit of the kinks in the back end. So say for
Hmm.
instance, I have a valuable skill of creating pitch decks, and
Hmm.
I want to offer that, let's say on your platform, and I want to
Hmm.
tokenize that and monetize
Hmm.
that.
Hmm.
And I go on your platform,
Hmm.
I then pitch then the idea or market it or whatever, and then similar to like a Fiverr, and then people like
Hmm.
scroll and then
Hmm.
they see, oh no, this
Hmm.
guy's offering like can do pitch decks and he wants
Hmm.
X amount of 3 vo tokens,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm. Hmm.
So how does it work in the back end? Because how, for instance, like a Fiverr, right? How it would work is
Hmm.
that the actual third party platform would hold funds up until the actual product is delivered. So I'm wondering, is it like a time locked smart contract, or how,
Yeah,
how are
it's
you facilitating that in the
absolutely,
back end?
absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. So as soon as you make the order,
Mm-hmm.
between quotation, within the smart contract, instantly it would be similar to just held up an escrow, right?
Got it.
On chain, right?
Yeah.
And as soon as both parties agree to the terms, they're done, right? The money will be unlocked this way.
Yeah. And
there's
in
um,
regard.
there's multiple easier ways, on the front end. It's a
Mm-hmm.
much simpler than that. On the front end, it's as simple as what you use today. You order, you like the work, okay, I accept the work, boom, it's transferred. So for a regular person, you don't need to worry about what's happening on the back end. There are multiple ways as well. It's not necessarily that you can go in and do this one on one. You can go in and have a product where you can sell it to multiple people, such as a course, right?
Yeah.
I'm good with pitch decks. I want to sell the skills. What consists of a good pitch deck? So you create your own exclusive section where it's only available either to your subscribers or a pay-per-use type of a scenario. You set
Mm-hmm.
the settings, you customize it, accept, decline from the user. So again, the versatility of the platform, we wanted it to be versatile. Again, it's not, it's funny because it's not just this one rigid platform, one rigid application where
Yeah.
it's always something that is evolving.
Yeah. What about, is there going to be sort of this like reviews section to sort of decipher between, say, two people have the same like-minded skill, and how do you decipher between them? Are you going to have some kind of like reviews, and how is that going to be? Is
Absolutely.
it be like decentralized like reviews, or how's that going to be functioning?
Absolutely. So basically, you have a reviews, a score. If you as a business you want to add a review, you have your own category, right? For example, I am a writer, right? Under podcast, under pitch decks, I am a writer, right? You have every time it's you enable it. If you wanna enable it, it's up to you. If you're horrible, obviously, people who don't have reviews, like everything else, you kinda see them less, right?
Yeah.
Less in terms of the service that you provide. Like any product you buy on Amazon, you see no reviews, right? Like what's going on here, right? So obviously, we will encourage reviews,
Sketchy.
and yeah, yeah, right.
Yeah.
It is actually a module. I'm not sure, Van, if we can share probably a demo, or attach it to this podcast, or have
It's
maybe a separate.
yeah, better to attach it later. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
where you will see visually what Trevo is.
Mm-hmm.
From a first glance, you'd instantly recognize, oh, well, this is what the guys are doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And what about the ability? Because I just always, I keep referring to this platform called Fiverr. And
Hmm.
if you need to do like a revision,
Hmm.
say for instance you didn't like the the work that was done, the
Hmm.
value that was provided was lackluster. How
Hmm.
how does that work in terms of revisions and things of this nature?
We just give a horrible score.
I see.
You know,
Okay.
and if you have a horrible score, now here's the thing. if you are using your own token, that's why we want people to encourage people to use their own token. For example, Van token.
Yeah.
If you want access to my skill set, pay me with my token. What that does, if you are good, your token is gonna go through the roof because there's
Yeah.
so only limited supply and people will have to buy it from each other, right? If you have a lot of demand, you're a great pitch deck writer. You know, every project will want to buy your token to pay you. So what happens is the price goes up. But if you're a horrible pitch deck writer, right, and you say charge me with my own token, and you're like not a lot of people are demanding it, your price is gonna go down. So we have a lot of these mechanisms.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're experimenting. Starting with our community. So we have already onboarded. I think right now we're close to 5,000 active verified users on Android. We haven't launched yet on iOS yet. There are certain limitations for iOS that we have to go through. It's still in MVP stage. We're going through the features with our community, getting the feedback. So think about this: what we have released in our MVP as our alpha. Great results, close to 10,000 downloads, about 5,000 active verified users, meaning phone number, email, and verify that you are a human. We got into top 10 new apps in 19 countries at the very first couple of days. Right now, our focus is to bring this to web. Web gives us a lot of flexibility. You don't need to install anything, and there are a lot of limitations by Google and by Apple for crypto. So, and we're going like the cowboys of the Wild West with a lot of things that tokenization is not simple in terms of working out with Google and Apple. So web will give us a lot of freedom, where the mobile version will be much more as your on the go wallet, where you can communicate, where you can see, like, right. So that's our goal for the next couple of months, to get the web version out, and have as many platforms where Trevo exists as possible. Give this options to people.
Hey bro, I'm just trolling is something that will not just challenge your perspective, but also touch your heart and soul. It's a book that defies convention, blending art and literature into a thought-provoking masterpiece. A reflective piece of provocative art that tackles societal constructs from angles you've never considered. Hey bro, I'm just trolling delves into the very essence of our existence. It questions the technology that surrounds us, challenges our notions of beauty, stares unflinchingly into the eyes of death, and questions the boundaries of freedom. It scrutinized the educational system that molds our very future. This book is a journey, an exploration of shared human experience, and it's a work of art that refuses to be confined by tradition. It's a canvas painted with words, a melody of thought, and a testament to the power of creativity in a world dominated by algorithms and data. Visit moonboycapitalventures.com and get your hands on Hey Bro, I'm Just Trolling today. It's not just a book, it's a movement. Now let's jump back into the show.
Yeah, it makes absolute sense. And also, I want to discuss about the onboarding process, because that's always an issue when it comes to crypto. So I'm just wondering, how do you, because you need a little bit of levels of technical expertise to be able to engage in this platform, I'm assuming, right? The wallets and how crypto works and et cetera. So what are you doing to minimize the risk of people being a little bit frightened to not want to use the platform because it's dealing with crypto, and crypto is kind of seen as a scam and blah 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 and etc. So how are you handling or the onboarding process, or what are your procedures that you plan to do to be able to increase the optimizing the ability for people to onboard?
From first glance, when you just get in touch with Trevo, you instantly feel it's a social application. So it's very simple. You go in, you just fill in your name, your email address, and you can just create an account that has wallet, no wallet attached, nothing. It's just a social platform. You don't need to attach anything, right? Where you can view, you can interact, you can comment, like the more legacy Web2 functionalities. Now, once you are inside of the app, you click wallet. It tells you create new wallet or add existing wallet. DeFi wallet in the beginning, we are, initially DeFi is where we want to be. We made it as simple as possible in terms of, step by step guide how you have that, letting you know if you lost your seed phrase, we can do nothing, right, in terms of the financial aspect. So we're smoothing the process by approaching it from a very social perspective where you
Yeah.
can use it. You want to attach the crypto aspect of it, you can do that also. The steps are easy. Literally one of the simplest and the fastest wallet experiences inside of the application today. um, the other part of it is the education part. So we just launched our blog. We're going to put a lot of educational material for newcomers so that they know they can utilize the platform one feature at a time.
Yeah.
I would
Yeah. Make.
I would also like to add something to this because that's one thing. But we've been also talking with Tria and Privy. So what they can allow is to, for example, enable the social login, which this is still in the
True.
negotiation stage. But at the same time, this can allow us in the future to make it so the people can just log in with their already existing accounts, like Google account, and then the wallet is being automatically created in the background in a way that they don't even are aware that there was a creation of such a wallet. So that's one thing. And at the same time, the way that we're developing the product itself, because we are having this one UI, we are like putting the UI in front of you. We are in charge of this UI, so we can actually create this kind of small type of onboarding queue. So whenever you think about a new game, you come into a new game and you not only have the whole screen is blackened and then only the important part is highlighted and you see, oh, click here to do that, click here to do that. But at the same time, what we have in plans is the quest system. So basically, small amount of quests that you will be able to do in order to achieve like a bigger type of scoring inside of the platform. And this way, it's all giving you a little bit of incentivization as rewards from the pool of the tokens. So you're getting actually some money out of this, and at the same time, you're learning how to do it. So that's the other approach. And two last things that we want to implement in terms of the onboarding as first and foremost the multi-chain approach, whereas we don't want the user to actually understand on which chain they are on. We want them to just be aware that, for example, if I paid for this service, the most important fact is I just paid for the service, not I paid from my Ethereum wallet to this Binance Smart Chain wallet somehow. So that so so that's one more thing. And the last time, we don't want them necessarily to understand what's a crypto exchange, because we know how much difficulty it brings, especially to Web2 guys. If they never started investing into anything in the past, how can they even understand, what type of crypto token to buy when everything is looking like an exchange type of thing, like with stocks?
Yeah.
So, and that's where Ayman is right now discussing with some money exchangers, local ATMs, crypto ATMs at the ground. So in places where it's needed, where people actually cannot have easy access to like credit cards, people will be able to come with cash, and the cash is going to be deposited directly into their accounts, which is eliminating the whole struggle with the exchanges. So they're already having the cash and the funds that they can utilize on the platform. It's much easier from their perspective. But as Ayman said, we do not want to limit people. So if they want, they can also in the future will be able to connect with their centralized exchanges, being able to like tap into those liquidities of those exchanges. But from the onboarding standpoint, that's like the main goal of ours that we're trying to achieve.
Great. And also, I just want to make a slight comment for the side. Are those NFTs behind you?
They might be, but they're like non-digital.
Oh, are you a Bored Ape Yacht Club? Are you one of those guys? No, but yeah, no, great stuff. Yeah, I totally agree, and also because a lot of the normies, when you onboard them and then they lose their seed phrase, and then you end up getting emails like, "Hey, man, I can't log back into my account." So it's good that you guys are already coming up with standard procedures to be able to streamline that process. Also, I look at the crypto space too as well. There's other people that are solving that same problem too as well. I don't know if you know or familiar with Kujira, but they've come out with a system that allows you to onboard seedlessly, and you can simply just if you want access to seed phrase, they will give it to you, or if you don't want access to seed phrase, they won't give it to you if you don't want that too as well. You could just bypass that process and already be able to deposit crypto and play. So that's also a
Interesting.
very interesting DeFi platform too as well. So I'm glad that you guys are working on that. And I also wanted to ask you too as well about, because I wanted to refer back to, but I forgot the question, but then I remembered it again. So about the MiCA regulations, right? So I wanted
Mhm.
to sort of kind of bring a question up in regards to the data, right? Because you were talking about how you guys plan to constrain the data to make sure that it's not, being used for anything and et cetera. So how do you plan to coincide that with the current MiCA regulations that are coming out? Or are you guys have to worry about that? Because I don't know where you guys are structured exactly, if it's in the EU or where you're actually structured.
I'll give you my answer would be certain features of Trivo will be available only in certain countries where you KYC as a user. So that I'm not just talking about the EU. There are certain restrictions in places like in countries in the GCC, for example. There are other restrictions in the US, in Canada, in the EU region. So every country has its own rules and regulations when it comes to crypto. We plan to be compliant in each and every one of these countries. So when it comes to Trivo, if you want to use, for example, things like getting the local offerings, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have to KYC for the country that you are part of. You
Sorry,
can still
United
live.
States.
Yeah, you can. I mean, changes might happen, brother. Changes. Keep your hopes, bro.
President Pope.
Yeah. Uh, uh, so each country, obviously when it comes to what features are available, right? We're
Yep.
going this with geographical boundaries. We're going market by market. The global aspect, you can still be DeFi completely. You will have access to DeFi wallet. You can view certain contents, but you can't monetize, for example, right? Like
Yep.
you can, just use DeFi, but you cannot generate revenue by having your brand out there, right? So we are working with this in terms of the opt-in data monetization. Also, this program is going to be available only in certain select locations in the beginning, and as we go with figuring out how to deal with regulation in challenging areas like the EU and North America, right? Our main focus right now is to go where they need Web3 yesterday, which is
Mm-hmm.
the emerging markets, the global south. I've had the
Yes.
chance to give a keynote at one of the BRICS economic summits, just giving a case, for Lebanon, giving a case for a lot of developing countries of how can crypto, how can blockchain, simplify cross-border interactions, not just transactions, but interactions, create this global market of value that is, permissionless. Anyone can participate. There are, limitations based on each country's regulations, but overall, it's an open market. Money
Yeah.
can flow, easily, ideas, thoughts, services, products, and this is where our focus is. That's why we came to Lebanon. That's why we have focus on the MENA region. We definitely like the African region, whether it's West Africa or South
Hey.
Africa. Yeah, of course, brother. Of course.
Nice, nice.
Uh, yeah, and Central Asia is a very interesting market. Latin America is a very interesting market. We'll eventually focus on North America and Europe. I mean, we have a lot of our community members are from those regions that want to see this vision. But we're going with steps that we can jump easy, right? Just
Yes.
reduce the risk, reduce the costs, because there's also the approach. I mean, you can deploy everywhere and do marketing everywhere, but then your
Yeah.
budget is gonna become so. For us, we're taking things that are reasonable. We are like an army, right? We're going there towards the goal, towards where we want to see Trivo in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years. We want Trivo to be a premier, a premium, not a premium, a premier, like a world leading a platform where people exchange value, whether it's
Yeah.
money, whether it's ideas, whether it's expertise, whether it's thoughts. this is where we want Trevo by 2030. This is our vision, and our plan is to grow baby steps, bigger steps. 2 years ago, this was only just a note on a notepad. Then it became
Yeah.
a pitch deck. Then we start onboarding team members, started development, wallet. Then after the wallet, MVP. Now we're going into MVP plus, which is basically the updated version. Then we're going to the web version, marketing, kickstarted. Along the way, community members onboarding. Hey guys, let's do it, sending us support messages. So I mean, it has been a great experience. We have achieved so much in so little so far within
Yeah.
the past year in terms of, in particular, development. A lot of crypto projects go out there, they're selling you literally a pitch deck. We are there selling you with something that has been already showed, built, at least the main component of it. You see some traction, and that's we want to go TGE with a solid offering on the table. Hopefully shock the world positively this time.
Yeah, it makes absolute sense. And so, just to be clear, the product itself, where is it legally structured at?
Today, we are, as a company, we're structured offshore in Panama. We
Okay.
are
Okay.
improving just for crypto, you need to be offshore for
Yeah,
several,
I know.
for several considerations. But, as we are going forward, obviously, we are structuring worldwide different companies for different parts of Thrivo. The goal here is to create a legal structure that is compliant is in all of the markets that we are targeting. It is a long bureaucratic process, I would say. Like, one thing I've always, when it comes to the non-crypto world, in the crypto world, we have one call. All right, brother, let's do this. Transactions happen instantly. We have a deal. This is the API. We start developing. In
Yeah.
the legacy world, you have to do a call to set up a call, to set up a call, to set up a call for a meeting so that we can, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this is unfortunately how it is, but yeah, we're moving there, and to cover all of the jurisdictions that you know
Yeah.
that we will be operating in.
Yeah, makes sense. And I wanted to ask you too as well, what is the crypto adoption like in Lebanon, or specifically, is it different in nuance between crypto versus Bitcoin? Is there more Bitcoin adoption? Is there more crypto adoption? Is they all kind of see it as the same thing, even though they're separate? What has that been like for you?
Absolutely. I was shocked twice when I first came 3 months ago. So my taxi driver, so he's like, "What do you do?" I'm like, "I'm in crypto." And he instantly started with a massive, like, "This is what I bought. This is what I think is going to happen." I'm like, "Pretty cool." And I was trying to understand his education level. And it's a high school guy. That's it. Um, so that was the first time. The second time, I was surprised in the supermarket. Also, the guy I was giving me the ham, he was telling me, like, same question. "Hey, what do you do?" And he saw me talking on the phone. I was on a team call, and I was yelling, "This project, that project, do this." And he's like, "You're in crypto?" I'm like, "Yeah, bro." And he's like, "So am I." And this guy's cutting ham for me. Instantly joined the group, and it's like, "Yeah, I saw you guys Trevo, somewhere." I'm like, "Cool." So the interesting part is that the young population, I would say crypto users are anywhere between 18 to maybe, this 35, 36, maybe pushing 40 as users. Um, for the general, but this is still a niche around university students, primarily around business owners, especially the young ones, entrepreneurs. Young people understand for most what is crypto. Males in particular today. How it's used, unfortunately, it's not in the best way possible. There was a lot of like issues in terms of people wanted to get into crypto, and then they give their money to there's nothing is regulated.
Scammers,
Just
and
this
then
one
yeah.
random guy, and I'm gonna make you and you go into, so this is the story,
Same old,
pretty
same old.
much same old,
Yeah.
same old. So you had a lot of negative feedback initially, but then as people started to understand, oh well, you start having miners who are mining on solar power. Back in the day they used to mine Ethereum, right? There's also a lot of miners here. You have the traders that trade, and initially everyone went through. You didn't know that you could just create an account on an exchange and trade. They thought this is, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Because it's like a word of mouth. You know how it is in developing countries. Word of mouth. Oh,
Yeah,
this
yeah,
guy
yeah,
made money. You know what I mean?
yeah. Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. And
but
it
now
travels
people
fast.
are, yeah, absolutely. Now people are getting more into it. You have your businessmen, your businesses, using USDT to send money overseas when they need to, because what their alternatives are horrible, either via a bank transfer, and you have the high fees, incredibly high fees at the moment. Um, and other than the fees, you don't have no idea whether the transaction will get through. They already robbed your money in the first time, so they might do it again. Or your other alternative is the hawala system, cash between countries. It's a very gray market. A lot of them found crypto as a way to transact globally. You have a lot of those who are invest in, like, $50, $100, expecting to make it a million.
Yeah.
Gambling is part of it. But the good part, that I was in Hamra Street, and there's this one small grocery, like literally a corner store, like you were talking about, like 2 foot wide door, very narrow, and right. And he had this one sticker, USDT, where you can pay with USDT. You can exchange USDT there. I had two other experiences, one in Sidon and one in Jbeil in Byblos, where there was a burger place. One was a restaurant, one was a burger place that said, you can pay with USDT. Um,
Wow.
yeah,
That's
so
cool.
I mean, people understand that there are alternatives. Now, it is not still mainstream, although there is the big potential to have it mainstream. You're talking about an economy that uses 50% is remittance, so people sending money overseas. So this can
Yeah.
be easily done in crypto. People will have USDT if there is a place to spend it. People
Yeah.
will have Bitcoin if there is a place where they can do some at least hold value with it. People
Yeah.
will use Strivo if Strivo is integrated to all of these businesses around, the fan clubs, the media they consume. People will use it. That's where it's a small market where we can have a strong presence. No need to spend exorbitant amount of money, and at the same time, it's a good starting place, where they need something like crypto today.
Yeah.
They have enough traction in terms of adopting the technology for everything from payments as a store of value, and so on. And it has all of the potentials to succeed. We're talking about 70% cash economy, 50% based on remittance, and you have a lot of expats where you have a platform. You have a country that is culturally oversized in terms of the Lebanese expats are everywhere. Like in Chicago, you'd be surprised to see, clusters of populations Lebanese. Go Dearborn, Michigan, right? Same story. So they can spread the word pretty fun. Dubai, the same thing. A lot of culture goes from Lebanon in terms of the media, the influencers, the artists, right? It's kind of like the Hollywood, right? Where send the stuff people want to see, and big presence in Dubai. So for us, it's a great starting point. The regulations are great in terms of
Yeah.
there is almost no regulation whatsoever. So we have a lot of flexibility. We have the right network when it comes to I've developed a lot of businesses there, partnered with a lot of existing businesses, marketing agencies, so we can reach the influencers and the artists on one hand, bring their community, and on the other hand, onboard the businesses and kickstart this whole process.
Yeah, makes sense. And what about the inflation rates currently right now in Lebanon? How's that looking like?
There are, like everywhere else, two parts. There's one government issued or government declared inflation, and there is real inflation, right?
Yeah.
In terms, I don't have the latest statistics. I
Yep.
used to follow. So there's this one guy, I think it's called Hanky on Twitter. Old guy. He tracks inflation data worldwide. Anyways, he tracks real inflation numbers, and it's still in the high double digits last time. I don't quote me on any number.
Yeah.
Government inflations obviously do not reflect
The
reality.
nominal.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, and it's not only inflation based on the Lebanese lira.
Yeah.
It's based on the dollar. Like if you compare dollar to dollar value, it's one thing to measure inflation, because if you're a net importer country and you import everything via the dollar, so um, it's one thing to measure inflation dollar to dollar. It's another thing to measure inflation dollar to lira, because the lira is losing against the dollar, and there is the inflation on the dollar itself.
Yeah.
So we're still talking about I don't know if even it's in the annually. Prices almost seem to increase 10-20% every time you go to a supermarket, right?
Damn.
Um, it's insane, and people don't make much money here. It's
Yeah.
surprising. Almost feels everyone got to hustle. Everyone got to hustle, two, three, four jobs, and
Yeah.
doing this
Yeah.
and that at the same time just to make ends meet.
Same as everywhere else, man. And also, I wanted to ask you then, because if you're watching this and you're a Web3 founder and you're thinking about attacking the Lebanese market with, the currency instability, so you can't really store money inside the bank because it's not really lucrative, and then plus I think there's a war going on right now. Um,
Yeah,
how do you combat and navigate these issues to try to say you wanted to be placed in, or you wanted to try to attack that market?
sure. War is very unfortunate, and most of
Yep.
the times it's not in the hands of the people. I mean, we're not talking about highly transparent democratic societies. You know how it is in the vast majority of the, there's still ways to go, and people do not have necessarily a say in how politics go. So you always have, it becomes part of the risk that you are willing to take being in
Yeah.
this market. And if you understand the market, you'll know how to manage during crisis times, right? Same thing with everyone, with the population. Like it's strange where yesterday there was a major security event that happened in the capital, right? Literal war, and then only maybe a mile and a half, 2 miles away, there is a big concert that's happening, and people are partying and clubs are working. It's again, Lebanon is a strange country. You'll have to, chill for a month to understand how crazy this is. Literally, it's a
Yeah.
GTA server. It's a GTA server. For us as a business, again, Lebanon is, not. It's not the one country that we bringing three for. Lebanon is just one place we're deploying where we can go wild in all of the features.
Yeah.
The solutions that we are bringing in Trevo can work for countries like Jordan, like Iraq, like Egypt, like
Oh,
Nigeria, like
I was
South
I was just
Africa,
I was just about to tell you,
right?
like, maybe when we're off this podcast to talk a little bit about West Africa. But yeah, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Because
yeah.
as you're talking, I'm thinking in my head how it could be implemented in West Africa specifically. I
Bro,
think
we
it would be a
like
really good market.
Nigeria. Nigeria
Yep.
is the third most users we have right now in our application is Nigeria, and
Yeah.
we have a great support from Nigeria. When I was at the BRICS Economic Conference, we had a chance to talk with the South African delegation, where they saw Thrivo as a way to help small, medium businesses. How? We onboard all of the influencers on board. We give them platforms so that they can put their business there, spread it out right across, so you can, if you have the infrastructure, you can go in and sell anywhere in South Africa, so your markets are not just limited. They saw this as a way to improve transparency in terms of, think about every city council goes in and, goes and streams the session of what decisions, and people can vote in with a city token, right?
Yeah.
So we are working on these cases. We have a partnership with Finovant and Biometric Financial. They are deploying their phone in South Africa that is built with Google and the South African government. We are a native app with them. We're doing co-marketing together in those markets, building the cases so that we can bring these tools that we are offering at Trevo natively inside of their phone directly to the South African market. We are building on our presence both in, we already have founders who are in the UAE doing business development. Also, we're tackling the Egyptian market. So all of these are definitely
Sheesh.
within reach. Yeah,
Man.
working with ambassadors is key, bro. I'll tell you one thing that has helped us a lot. We have like an octopus network of, we have our ambassadors. Some of them were investors, and then they became more involved, right? In different. We want to launch an official ambassador program that is outside of our network, where anyone that's interested in pushing Trevo and being not just a brand ambassador but also a vision ambassador, the one that's helping us with the vision. I mean, we would absolutely love that. We are working on the program, and before TGE by September, it should be online. If you are interested, guys.
Yeah, interesting. And what about what's the incentive for the ambassadors program? Do you have an incentivization model?
Yeah, absolutely. Both financial in terms of stable and in tokens. Certain people are gonna be more. I mean, we are open, right? I mean, we are open in terms of each country, each level of involvement has its own kind of case, right?
Yeah.
Some would like to just be spokespeople. Some would be, business developers and local communities that are working full time. So we're very flexible. The main important thing right now is to tell the world our story. You know, share the vision with the world, where we see what we want to bring to the table, and obviously create this bridge to allow everyone who's interested to join Trevo. This is a very community based project. A lot of a lot of the things that you have in the project came from the community, came from those who say, this is our vision of how we like to see something like Trevo, right? And we started getting a lot of really good ideas. And obviously we want people who are interested to be on board and be part of our movement, of that revolution. So just one thing,
Yeah.
what Trevo means. Trevo can be seen, if you flip the tree, as Evo. So it's web evolution, but it's also Web3 revolution. It's evolutionary in one way, where we are bringing all of these tools into existing infrastructure, and it's
Yeah.
revolutionary in the way we see value. How tokenization can literally transform what you bring to the table as value, and hence the word Trevo came in.
Yeah. And what about in terms of funding? Have you gotten any funding? Or are you looking for funding, or how are you guys
Sure.
going about that?
Sure, we have completed our angel round. We have allocated all of our seed round. Not all of it is committed, but now we're at strategic round. Obviously, there is a strategic round for all of the strategic partners. We have several. We're approaching several VCs. Several VCs approached us, so we're working on this for the next couple of months. And the public round for everyone that is interested in Trevo in the IDO. Obviously, we're gonna do our IDO first. You can get them on launchpads. Again, tier one. This is something that we can announce later on. But that's what I can say for now. So you can buy there, and if not on the launchpads, on our IDO, make sure to be there.
Awesome. Awesome. Ayman, I think this is all the questions that I had. Victor, do you have anything before we go? Anything?
Oh, that was just a wonderful conversation. It was a pleasure having this stream with you, Moonboy, Kaz, Van. Everything is going fantastically. Happy that we've been able to showcase this side of Freevo that not everyone knows. We don't have like this outlined anywhere on the website, especially like how we like approaching those markets. But I think this is like a key piece of the puzzle that we're building and differentiator as well. Like the reason why we're doing this in the first place. And I'm very grateful for those type of opportunities like today when we're able to share this story and showcase that there's more to this than just a simple product. There is a solution for the problems for people where they actually need those type of solutions the most. And especially right now, like this is kind of damaging a little bit. I mean, I hate to say it, but when I think about the war and what's happening there, like people, especially now, need something like this. Especially now, need something that is not decentralized, that is going to enable them to escape from these realities, to be able to somehow safely store their value in a place that it's like truly theirs. So the faster we can deploy Freevo in those type of places, the faster we can help people out and being able to open up this new era of value proposition. So that's from me.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you, man. And I'm a big proponent for technology. I feel like technology can help bypass a lot of the BS that's happening in society, and to help empower people and uplift people, especially they're in stressful type of environments like in Lebanon, man. So, Ayman, I'd like to thank you too. Where can people find Threevo on the internet, and you guys on the
Yes.
internet?
Yes, 3vo.me is our website. You will find all of our links, the pitch deck, basically everything about the project. You can find us on X, 3vo_me. You can find us on Instagram, on Telegram. Join our group. You can find me. We are personally sitting in our Telegram group, so answering all questions. So feel free to reach out. Van, brother, such a great conversation. I'm really thankful for the opportunity. It has been a pleasure, brother, and I'm looking for next times we have cooperation together.
Yeah, absolutely. I will be contacting you after this, and I will be asking you also for the links for the show notes too as well. And yeah, really thoroughly enjoyed this one. Ayman, Victor, appreciate you both. And this concludes this episode of the Mooncast, and peace.